Welcome back to Elite and Legendary NBA basketball players. Today, I'm going to be paying respect and tribute to Ervin Magic Johnson, my second childhood sports hero. Now, in the previous video, I did a video about Dr. J. He was my first childhood sports hero, and Magic was definitely the second. I remember when I first saw Magic play, I was just amazed at how uh, competitive he was and how well he passed the ball and got all his teammates involved. He was mesmerizing to watch. And I got a chance to see him, not a whole lot, but really only when they played the Sixers or when they played the Celtics. Because, of course, I grew up in Philadelphia, and I really enjoyed watching him play. He was such an amazing basketball player. And I really don't think he gets the respect he deserves, especially by these young people today. They don't really know or understand how phenomenal Magic Johnson was. And, the thing that I heard Steph Curry said, and I always, had respect Steph Curry up until I think about a year ago when he said that he feels though he's the greatest point guard ever. I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, you're delusional. Because ain't no what you ain't nowhere near as good as Magic Johnson. Nowhere near it. I'm sorry. I don't care what you young people say. Y'all don't have a clue. Y'all didn't grow up watching Magic Johnson play live. I did. He was a phenomenon. I've never seen anything like him to be that big, that tall, and that talented. And people like to act like Magic Johnson wasn't athletic. Magic Johnson was very athletic. He just wasn't the jump out of your gym type of player, but he was definitely athletic. He could finish extremely well underneath the rim. And he was a very good post player. He was a very, very good free throw shooter. I think he shot over 80% for his career, and he had a nice set shot. He wasn't that much of a mid-range type of shooter, but I think right outside of mid-range, he shot the ball pretty well. He did whatever he had to do to try to win the game. And when I think about Magic Johnson, I think of nothing but somebody that's a winner, somebody who was competitive, someone who was a great leader, someone who was articulate, intelligent, creative, extremely creative on the basketball court. He just, the passes that he threw just blew my mind. Seriously, the guy can run straight, looked the total opposite direction and pass the ball to a guy in full sprint and make the shot. Like, he was amazing. Half court bounce passes for layups. He was just, and there was sometimes he did this from laying on the floor. Like, he did a bounce pass to James Worthy or somebody from laying on the floor, and he got it and made the layup. Like, this guy was unbelievable. He was a person of integrity. He was classy. He was honorable, determined, and he showed class in defeat. Unlike some of these guys today that will walk off the court early by themselves without their team and just walk off the court. Now, Magic didn't do that. When he lost games and lost finals victories, he went into the other team's locker room and he showed them respect. You know, like some individual I know today, he only want to hug and dap up people when he wins, but then when he loses, he gonna walk off the court early by himself. That somebody like that shouldn't get any respect from anybody. But that wasn't Magic Johnson. He showed class in defeat. And I remember as a kid watching him like play, and like I said, most of the time I only seen him battling for the most part the Sixers and the Celtics, and man, it was a war. Literally, it was a war. Like, those guys, they went to war back then. If you wasn't a man, you wasn't gonna survive in the league back then. You had to be a grown man. You had to have some guts because they was coming at you. And Magic Johnson was the type of person that was always coming at your neck because he wanted to win. When him and Bird used to go at it, it seemed like those two teams in the finals every single year. It seemed like it. I know they weren't because the Sixers was there too. And Houston got in there one time, and then of course Detroit got in there twice at the end of the '80s. But it seemed like it was always the Lakers and the Celtics, and I think that's what most people wanted to see. Those two teams because they came in the league together. At the same time, and of course we know they played against each other in college, and Magic Johnson beat Bird. So of course I think when they met for the first time, I believe if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Lord, either 82 or 84, and Bird got his revenge and won. And and it seemed like they were just going back and forth. And then of course Magic won. I believe twice. He beat Bird 2 out of 3 times. So he got the upper hand. At the end, but just Magic Johnson was such an incredible player to be. Like if you look at these photos, you can see the man was definitely athletic. Like people try to act like he was like some kind of just passing statue, and that's all he could do was pass. No, Magic could do whatever Magic wanted to do, and he did whatever he had to do to win. And he was one of those type of players that most certainly made his teammates better. He made everybody a threat, and that's how you can really defeat a lot of teams by making everybody a threat. So if it's just instead of it being, instead of the defense focusing on one individual, you make everybody a threat so the defense can't focus on one individual. That's team ball. That's the way you play team sports. You involve everybody. You make everybody a threat. Now, of course, everybody's not at the same talent level. We understand that. But come on. If Magic Johnson sees that you're wide open and gets you the ball, you got to make that shot. Because if you don't, he may not give you the ball again. So you had to keep your eyes open and you had to have sure hands. Because you just never knew when he's going to throw you that ball. And I know those guys had to work really hard in practice to win his confidence. But he was just a straight up competitor. He was so creative with that basketball. He could play in the post. He was very effective in the post. He had a nice little set shot outside of mid range. He could take the ball to the basket whenever he needed to. He could shoot the three a little bit. He shot over 80% from the free throw line. Very clutch free throw shooter. He just did whatever he had to do. He could rebound the ball. He was a good help defender. Now, he wasn't a good one-on-one defender. He just didn't have side-to-side lateral movement like that. But he was a very good help defender. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think he led the league in steals a couple of times, just based on, he just played excellent team defense, help defense, I like that, even though he knew he wasn't a great one-on-one defender, but yet he still played great team defense. And I like that, that I respect that. I respect that. And, he won 3 MVPs, as we know, 3 MVPs. And I think he won, if I'm not mistaken, I think three MVPs in the finals. He won more MVPs in the finals than Kareem did. Kareem only won 2. So Magic Johnson was just that dude. He was that dude coming straight out of college. Kareem went down in the 1980 finals against the Sixers. He went down in Game 5, and they had Game 6 in Philadelphia, and Magic Johnson stepped up. He said, "No, have no fear. Magic is here." And he played forward, guard, and center. Matter of fact, he jumped center at the beginning of the game, and the Sixers thought he was crazy. Like, is this dude serious? He going to jump with I think it was Caldwell Jones at the time, and he ended up having 42 points. I think like 15 rebounds and like 6 assists. I mean, he had a great game, and he ended up being MVP of the finals, and they won the championship in his rookie season. This dude was amazing. He was a straight up G. I'm telling you, Magic was that dude. And there is no way in the world that Steph Curry is anywhere near Magic Johnson's level. He's just not. He's just not. Steph Curry is just a 3-point shooter. I mean, I'm not saying he can't finish around the basket. He can do that, but he's pretty much just a 3-point shooter for the most part. He can't defend worth the lick. Okay, he is a good free throw shooter. I'll give him that. He's definitely nowhere near the passer that Magic Johnson was. He doesn't galvanize all his teammates and make all his teammates better like Magic did. No, he didn't have the effect on the game that Magic did. He just didn't. And he only, he got 2 MVPs, which is great. Magic has 3, and Magic has 5 championships. And I know it ain't all just about championships, but Magic was an iconic type of player. He just was. He should have actually been bigger than what he was. I don't know why he wasn't. He had a very engaging smile. He was, articulate. He was definitely a professional. He always displayed professionalism. I just loved the guy, and I loved the way he played, and I respected his game. Even though, when he played my Sixers, I always wanted him to lose, of course. And the thing I loved about it too, in 1983, the Sixers finally got their revenge. When the Lakers beat them in 80, they came back in 83. But this time, instead of Caldwell Jones at center, they had Moses Malone at center, and they actually won the championship by sweeping the Lakers. And that's with a fully loaded Laker team. Nobody was injured, and they got swept. Kareem, Magic, Worthy, Byron Scott, AC Green, all those dudes, and they still got swept. So I was loving it. But I've always had a great deal of respect for this man. He deserves way more props than what he gets. Honestly, he was just that phenomenal to me. And just based on what I've seen over the last 5 decades, he is by far the best point guard to ever play the position. I mean, he was just amazing to be that big, 6'9", over 200 and something, like 225, 230 pounds, but that can play like that. And I've just never seen somebody that tall and big that was that fast. Like, as soon as he get the ball, he was flying down the court to get the ball to his teammate. I mean, he played at a very fast, high rate. Like it. And when I watch these older games on YouTube, sometimes I had like forgotten how great this man was. I actually forgot how great he was because they don't play anymore. But when you go back and look at these older games, you be like, wow, this dude was unbelievable. And I think this young generation, that's something you all need to do. Y'all need to go and start watching these classic NBA games on YouTube, and you're going to see a big difference between the way these guys, these men competed back during this era as compared to how they compete now. The rule changes today are horrible. People keep saying, oh, freedom of movement. Man, forget freedom of movement. That's garbage. Only thing they doing is chucking up three-pointers, traveling, carrying, taking 3 and 5 steps. They don't officiate the game with any integrity anymore. They don't play no defense. There's no physicality. I hate the game today, and I don't even watch it anymore. If I want to watch basketball, I'll turn on YouTube and I'll watch these classic games that I grew up watching where these men really played ball and they hooped. So my respect to the Magic Man, Magic Johnson. There hasn't been anyone like him before him, and there hasn't been anyone like him after him. He is that dude. Love him. Always will respect him. Always be my favorite point guard by far, easily. Now, I'm not saying there wasn't other great point guards that came after him or played during his time. But for me, he is the best by far. No question about it. So shout out to Ervin Magic Johnson. He was that dude. Love him, respect him, and I give you props on this day. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I do appreciate it. Feel free to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. All right. I will check you guys out in the next one. Peace.